fertilizer and chemical for that matter, Shivangi, Indian agrochemical companies with domestic sales focus are seeing good robust growth. And if we see the likes of Rallis India, Coromandel International around 5 to 6% of course, globally excess inventory across Latin America and North America have been diluted, which is a concern. But in the domestic front, particularly stock-wise, what is your technical approach?
Of course, when you talk about chemicals today, Tata Chemical cannot be ruled out. We've seen this has been a star performer of the day. And excellent short covering move has driven this stock with a surge in both price and volumes. It's come out of its range of the last 7 weeks as well, and very beautifully surpassed its previous hurdle of 975 levels as well. So overall, this stock is one which looks quite positive. Now, next for Tata Chemical is 1050 odd levels that we're looking at, and with a support of 980 levels.
Okay, so that's the view coming in on Tata Chemical and several of these chemical stocks which continue to fly high in trade today. But Sharan, any BTST, STBT trades? I understand you already shared one, but any other idea, stock specific idea?
Yeah, Ashisha, I think Ambuja Cement looking good on the chart. It's seen a good rally, and now with the weak market, it slightly dipped, now taking support around the 20-day EMA. And today also it's making a hammer candle, so I think good upside can be seen tomorrow. So definitely looks good for a BTST candidate. You can buy at current levels of 610 with just a 10 rupee stop loss around 600, and target should be around 620 to 630 levels.
Okay, so another trading idea, Ambuja Cement along with Varun Beverages Limited coming from Sharan Lillaney. Keep an eye on Ambuja Cement as well. But the pharma, healthcare and diagnostic bucket is really helping the market and contributing large and playing the role of the defensive. At present, when we talk in the session today, the Nifty Pharma Index is trading with an upsurge of around 300 points. And in particular, if we have a look at Torrent Pharma, post the news flows, Shivangi, we also have positive brokerage reports where the stance are positive and at the same time the targets are revised. Nuvama has given a buy stance for Torrent Pharma and the targets have revised to 4180 from 3920, and Antique also has a buy rating on Torrent Pharma with a target price of 4310, which was 3960 previously. What's your view on pharma basket and in particular for Torrent Pharma?
Talking about the pharma basket, of course, we've seen a good rally in the last couple of weeks, and we've seen stocks like, diagnostic space companies also do very well. But somewhere we are seeing that there is a consolidative phase as of now that we are witnessing in most of these counters. And, we would recommend to watch these stocks for this consolidative phase before the next leg of rally begins for these stocks.
Okay, so that's the view coming in on Torrent Pharma and a whole host of brokerage reports that came up this morning. But shifting focus then, Paradeep Phosphates. This one was also reacting to numbers. That one is up nearly 14% after it reported very strong set of numbers. Okay, it has cooled off a tad bit, but despite that, sitting on with gains of nearly 8%. But another stock, it one reported its numbers a couple of hours ago, and that is Varun Beverages. That one is also up nearly 4% as we speak. But let's put the spotlight on Paradeep Phosphates. And Sharan, what will your view be on this particular counter? It has cooled off from the highest point, but despite that, gaining nearly 7.5%.
Ashisha, looking at the stock, I think post-result rally was seen, but today I think it's kind of a move from a higher level. You are seeing significant selling on higher volume. So this stock can again dip to its breakout level of around 200 odd level, but the stock currently, looking at the charts, is very strong. It's a buy on dip stock. If you get around 180, between 180 and 190 odd levels, you can make a buy on dip strategy. I think after consolidation for around 1 or 2 weeks, I think it can again resume its rally. So again, a very strong set of results coming in by the company. But today, from higher levels, you have seen selling, and you can see levels of around 200 to 190 odd levels.
It has jumped up big time, right? 14%, and of course the gains have frizzled a tad bit, but still 8% upsurge in Paradeep Phosphate. A buy on dip candidate, if you get it somewhere near 180 levels, can consider entering as the stock has positive conviction and the signs of positivity will stay. But moving ahead, let's take a look at Power Grid. The company is all set to report its quarterly earnings, and recovery in think profit will be one of the key monitorables while we track the numbers? My colleague Kanishka Sarkar is here with the fine prints of the same. Kanishka, what are the expectations from Power Grid?
Well, Power Grid is expected to post quite a steady Q1 with revenue likely to come in at 11,089 crore rupees. That is up 10% on a year-on-year basis, and net profit that could come in around 3,734 crore rupees, marking a 9% rise from the last year. However, as per the ET Now poll of 4 brokerages at least, profit could dip nearly 14% when compared on a sequential basis. That's due to a high, strong Q4 base. EBITDA margins, they are seen robust at that 86% level, though slightly lower than the previous year, but still better than the last quarter. However, let me tell you that brokerages are largely divided when it comes to revenue growth and profit as well. Hence, we've taken a consensus view. Now, for instance, Nuvama sees a modest 4% PAT growth, citing weak execution last quarter. Kotak, on the other hand, expects higher revenue on the back of a 10,800 crore worth of asset capitalization, but subdued profit. Antique, meanwhile, has pegged PAT growth at 6% with 7 crore rupees worth of asset commissioning. So a mixed stance is coming from brokerages. Now, some of the key factors that we are going to be watching out for include the company's capitalization trend, capex execution, and recovery in PAT growth after operational tightening in 25, that is the previous fiscal. Now remember, sector-wise as well, India's power generation that declined 2% in Q1 on the back of early monsoons, which is likely to have an impact on the results of power sector companies. Meanwhile, renewables rose 17% during the quarter, possibly shifting the demand mix for transmission players like Power Grid, and that change in mix is something that we will be watching out for.
But apart from Power Grid, remember Tata Steel will also be reporting its numbers post-market hours tomorrow. And remember, volumes were on the lower side in the quarter gone by. In fact, consolidated volumes declined by about 15% on a sequential basis, and that is likely to weigh on revenue this time around. We're expecting revenue at about 50,400 crores, which will be a decline of about 10% on a sequential basis. Although on the bottom line, we are expecting an uptick. So margins could come in at 13.5% versus 11.7% that the company had reported in the previous quarter. Now, as far as internals are concerned, remember steel mills undertook price hikes in the month of April and May, and that is likely to aid realizations in the quarter gone by. Realizations could rise by about 4% QOQ. Meanwhile, lower costs is likely to aid spreads as well. So EBITDA per ton, that one is expected to come in at about 14,500 rupees per ton, which will be an uptick of a solid 15% on a sequential basis. As far as European operations are concerned, remember it has been reporting losses for the last several quarters. It reported a loss of $37 per ton in the previous quarter, but European operation is likely to break even in the first quarter of FY26. Netherlands profitability is likely to expand, although UK profitability is likely to be on the negative side. Management commentary with respect to steel price trend and capex plans going forward will be crucial, especially because of the transitioning that the company has been doing in the UK and Netherlands operations. But all in all, revenue is likely to decline. Spreads and margins are expected to expand on a sequential basis. So that's as far as Tata Steel numbers are concerned. But let's take a view on this one. Shivangi, coming to you ahead of its numbers, how do you expect Tata Steel on the charts, and what kind of move do you expect for this one?
So Tata Steel has witnessed a lot of momentum in the last few sessions, and we've seen that, in fact, metal space on the whole is showing some sort of stability and some sort of bounce back from here. Although Tata Steel, we've seen that there has been a good support near 160 odd levels. So buying was seen, right after it crossed these levels. On a weekly basis, it is still, consolidating and forming a good base. But it requires to hold above 160. Until the time it holds above these levels, then we could expect around about 165 odd levels. But there is still, a layer of call writers that are present at those levels, which needs unwinding for the next fresh leg of rally.
Okay, so that's the view coming in on Tata Steel. But Power Grid, this one, Sharan, at 293. Where do you see the stock headed?
So Ashisha, I think the stock is consolidating below all its moving averages, and for me, it's a clear avoid. If it trades below all its moving averages, means there's a lot of negativity in the stock, and at least selling at higher levels. It has a good resistance around 300 odd levels. Once it takes 300 out or starts trading about 300, I will review the stock, but currently nothing to look at. On a sideways consolidation since May, it's trading between 285 and 300 levels. So only about 300 will I review the stock again.
Okay, so that's the view coming in on Power Grid. 293 is where the stock is currently trading, and it will be reporting its numbers tomorrow. But among metal stocks, we did discuss Tata Steel, but Shivangi, apart from Tata Steel, several other stocks continue to remain in focus. We have Hindustan Copper, that one is up nearly 4% in trade today. We have Jindal Stainless, that one is up 3%. Hindustan Zinc, that one is also holding up sharply in trade. Any stock specific recommendation from the metal sector?
So metal sector, some of the stocks have showed recovery, and it's the first day of recovery. We've seen that these stocks have been beaten down in the last 3 weeks. So I would recommend that we could little wait and watch for these high beta stocks, and wait for the short term trend to change to enter for a good risk reward.
So that's the view coming in on Tata Steel. It will be in focus ahead of its numbers. But Sharan, just a few minutes left, and before we let you go, which will be the key levels to watch out for both on Nifty and Bank Nifty for tomorrow's trade?
So for Nifty, again, like I mentioned, Ashisha, it's again good support of the 100-day EMA of 24,600. So that becomes a good support. And the next level, looking at the market and the recovery today, I think we can easily touch levels of 25,000. That will be the resistance for the Nifty for tomorrow. So these are the two levels that we need to watch. Again, Bank Nifty, slightly underperforming the Nifty, but has good support around 56,000 and a small resistance around 56,500. So these two levels we need to watch for Bank Nifty.
Okay, so those are some of the key levels that you need to keep an eye out on in trade tomorrow as well. Remember, Nifty Bank currently is at 56,250 mark. Shivangi, I know only 3 minutes left, but any BTST, STBT trades that you would like to share with us?
Yes, so BTST, Polycab is one which is on the radar, and it's closed on a very good note at the higher levels. So would continue and reiterate Polycab for BTST trade as well that mentioned before.
Okay, so that's the trade coming in. Polycab India, remember that one is up nearly 1.5% in trade today. Shivangi and Sharan, thanks so much for joining us for this last hour of trade and helping us with a whole host of ideas. And we'd also like to thank our fundamental experts who joined us.